warm welcome. This is Markus Termin, Astrologisches Stundenbuch at the 6th of October 2024. The moon is in Scorpio, the sun is in the sign of Libra. Let's have a look. The most exact aspect today that we are facing was the square in between Mercury and Mars in the sign of Cancer. Now, Mercury and Mars do have a square position. Let me give you an example. You might have the idea with Mars in the sign of Cancer to grow your real estate, for instance, because Cancer is the sign of real estates, it's the sign of home, it's the sign of immobile goods, that are connected to the home. But Mars makes a square position to this at the same time. And that means that the negotiations about dealing with those matters, opening up the room, because Mars is always the room opener, will not go easy. They will have a square position. It's not easy to get along with them. Saying it more brutally, maybe you have the idea of land grabbing, in the one or the other idea. You're also using the Mars up there to get more of that real estate. But it makes a square position to Mercury, and it's not been done with integrity, really, because this is Lilith ruling this thing too. So if you have any idea worldwide who's now grabbing for some land that he actually doesn't really own, this is the aspect that those folks have to be facing too. Then, of course, we have the grand water trine of Moon, Venus in Scorpio, and there is Mars in the sign of Cancer. And this is actually not a bad thing. I've been talking about that because also the moon makes an exact trine to Neptune today. Neptune moon trine is always a little bit out of patriarchy. It's always going to Mother Mary herself, the big heart of nature that we all depend on. Now, looking at this chart and thinking about the Sunday we're talking and the situation in the world, I can't pick out any detail of what is actually happening. Pluto, I pointed out a few days ago, and I think I did a little mistake. He's going to be back in Aquarius on the 19th of November. Not later. On 19th of November, Pluto is going to be back in Aquarius. Jupiter is at a standstill, close to a standstill. He will be retrograde within a few days, like 4 days he will be retrograde. And Jupiter at a standstill is always also an intensive, a strong Jupiter. That means it works together very well with the other air forces which are there in the sign of Lilith. But again, I'm saying that this is for the good and the bad at the same time. You might face great opportunities by widening with Jupiter in the sign of Gemini your treasury of knowledge, of information, of pure information, because Gemini is the sign of information and knowledge. It might lack wisdom though, but if you have enough of that by yourself, the information is the way to get out or to get through anyhow, because this is what we are actually missing. Missing information? What are you talking about, man? There's so much information out there. Well, but there's no real information on who really owns the world. Is it Mr. Buffett, for instance, who has like 45% of that big black company, and the big black companies interwoven with everything else and is connected. Remember that this guy, he's born in the sign of Virgo, openly pronounced that there's a war going on of the rich and the poor, the rich against the poor, and his class is the winning class, and nothing has changed since that time actually. Also, we are still in the mood of these oppositions in between Libra and Chiron. The most outpointed event, of course, was the explosion of those pagers, because this is all communication, this is all Lilith communication, this is all about the past South Node, and this is all about hurting people, and it's all about, see the square position, the idea of this place is not your place, but this place is my place, and things like that. Having said that, and since it's Sunday, I want to put out a message to all of you Christian believers out there, because I have the feeling that we and the world is in a situation exactly since the late 2019 days that the world is in a, well, there's not too much reason for optimism, there's not too much reason for happiness. And this comes along with the idea that archangels are governing the periods of the so-called zeitgeist. And it takes them, they are exchanging the governance, and I don't know the name of the present archangel governing the zeitgeist, but it started in 2019, and it's a true break of civilization, because what happened afterwards is we used to have a civilization that at least pretended to care for what is happening. If there was a big natural disaster, the whole world was listening, was counting the casualties, what happened to the people, and was intensively connected to the suffering of those people. This is not anymore. We have natural disasters happening like over in America right now, and we don't even have legacy media covering it. And as rumors say, people are trying to help and are not even that they are not allowed to help, they are they say that they are going to be punished if they try to fly in for themselves and try to help those people starving in the, I think it's the Appalachian Mountains, and this is unbelievable. While at the same time the states how do you call that? Security help agencies. They have a name. I'm not going to say it because all those Harvester on YouTube. But those agencies don't deliver help. They are not able to do it at the same time. They just can't do it. We've seen similar things in Germany 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? When we had a flash flood in the mountains and there were like 200 casualties, dead people, which is just uncomparable small to what happened in the United States. Plus, we have to realize that with those possibilities of weather manipulation, those big storms seem to be, if not created, but at least they give them a path, to put them somewhere for whatever purpose, I don't know. But as I'm talking, I want to give you a clue on that. If we are trapped in times of dystopian civilization, and this seems to be the case in any form, which is inside the body, which is outside in the skies, everybody can watch this, which is ongoing wars, which is a perpetual insecurity and loyal questions. This is all a break of civilization in general. And when something happens like that, you can be sure, and this is why I have been talking about archangels, that it's not a human action going this path, but there are other highly evolved spiritual beings that might not have a positive character, who push mankind into hard and struggle sometimes like this. Well, mankind has survived up to this point. We have come through some very, very bad times and dark times, and we face that, and we will succeed this time too, following Jesus. We're talking about Sunday, because this is all the base of humanism at all that we got. We couldn't even think about our neighbor, our loved ones, the other citizens as people within the unity of Christian understanding, without having Jesus Christ at the base of it all. Never forget, He'll be there till the end of the days, and if the end of the days comes, and this is what we can rely on. Now, as I'm talking on the internet, at the same time I have the feeling that the amount of information, remember Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, is just overwhelming. It's too much. It's too big of a thing of information. And you might have realized that even like 99% of the short clips or movies that they do on so-called resistance, they have a layer of dark music, they have a layer of influential mind manipulating music at the same time. Well, we can't call it music, it's noise, but it's all about how can I get in your brain and influence you to get you in a low frequency. So we're going to push through all these things that we have planned for the civilization as an outcome, And the only thing we can escape that is actually through creating an inner space, praying, connecting with the good people that we know, and keep up the energy, keep up the high energy of consciousness. If you manage to do so, and astrology might be a good tool for that, because it gives you the clarity of what is actually happening. For instance, as long as Saturn is retrograde and we have those dissolvent structures in the sign of Pisces, you can give it a weight if you have things to newly construct, reconstruct, things like that, and maybe save some time in preparation. We have to be smart as the snakes and peaceful like the pigeons, because this is obviously some sort of end game, end time. But this end game, end time is going on since more than 2,000 years now, and we will push through this phase of humanity too, and get to a brighter space and to a brighter future. I promise you that, But still, going back to the idea of the archangels governing 7 years, when it started late 1919, not 1919, but 2019, sorry. 1919 is an important date where they covered the world in this relativity cage, which is all hoax, false, and anything. But then we are ready to see the exit, to come out of these phases. This is 2026, 2027, these perspectives can be given from the theory of the changing archangels in governing the world from a higher perspective. And we can catch up with those beings, but it doesn't go through metaphysics and it doesn't go through critics, because those beings depend on the development of mankind too. It's like a teacher. It's like our personal angel cannot succeed to higher grounds without us getting to higher grounds too. We are connected to those higher beings. There are at least three levels of higher beings existing above mankind, and at least three under us, down, as mankind. And always remember, the whole universe and probably every planet is inhabited with mankind, with people looking like men, having arms, legs, eyes, and things like that, though they are not living on Earth. And some of them are hostile and others are not. We have to learn a lot, and we have to come out into a bigger and brighter future. Thank you very much for listening on this Sunday, the 6th of October 2024. If you want to get a hint or just get in touch with your personal chart to find out how are those rough times affecting you, just get in contact by this email address. Mine, there's a DE at the end. Send me a mail with date, time and place where you were born, and we'll arrange a setting on, for instance, Zoom, which has the advantage of the possibility of recording. Thank you so much. Have a peaceful and a Sunday full of Scorpio moon insights. This is what we can do with this Sunday. See you maybe tomorrow or the other day. I'm not sure right now because I'm in travel business time, but you'll get the next information.